All right, guys, we watched Netflix's Army of the Dead, so you know what that means. We got to bring you a review. Um, I like to play this game.
It stinks.
Did you guys look at what the tomato rating is?
I think it's like 70-ish.
What do you think?
I'm guessing like 56.
69.
Oh.
Nice.
All right, guys. So I'm just going to go over the synopsis of the movie, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free impressions, and then after that, we'll get into a more detailed plot breakdown and our spoiler review. All right. So the official synopsis of the movie reads as thus. From filmmaker Zack Snyder, Army of the Dead takes place following a zombie outbreak that has left Las Vegas in ruins and walled off from the rest of the world. When Scott Ward, Dave Batista, a displaced Vegas local, former zombie war hero who's now flipping burgers on the outskirts of town he now calls home, is approached by casino boss Bly Tanaka, Hiroyuki Sanada, who I believe played Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat movie we reviewed not long ago. It's with the ultimate proposition. Break into the zombie-infested quarantine zone to retrieve $200 million sitting in a vault beneath the Strip before the city is nuked by the government in 32 hours. Driven by the hope that the payoff could help pave the way to a reconciliation with his estranged daughter Kate, played by Ella Purnell, Ward takes on the challenge assembling a ragtag group of experts for the heist. They include Maria Cruz, Ana de la Reguera, an ace mechanic and Ward's old friend, Vanderhee, played by Omar Hardwick, a zombie-killing machine, Marianne Peters, played by Tignertaro, a cynical helicopter pilot, Mikey Guzman, played by Raul Castillo, Go for Broke influencer, and Chambers, played by Samantha Wynn, his ride or die. Martin, played by Garrett Delahert, the casino's head of security, a badass warrior known as the Coyote, played by Nora Arzeneder, who recruits Bert Cummings, Theo Rossi, a slimy security guard, and a brilliant German safecracker named Dieter, played by Matthias Schweighöfer. Scott finds an unexpected emotional hurdle when Kate joins the expedition to search for Gita, played by Huma Qureshi, a mother who's gone missing inside the city with a ticking clock, a notoriously impenetrable vault, and a smarter, faster horde of alpha zombies closing in. Only one thing's for certain in the greatest heist ever attempted: survivors take all. So yeah, well, first of all, like, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know most of the actors in this movie. Like, obviously, I knew Dave Batista, I knew Tig Notaro, the helicopter pilot, and I knew the slimy mustache cop just because he played on Sons of Anarchy. But everybody else was like kind of unknown to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew the slimy guy from Luke Cage. He played Shades in there, so he was like a prominent character.
Oh yeah, he was in that, wasn't he?
I felt like a lot of them were like people I'd seen before, but I didn't specifically know.
Couldn't place him.
Yeah.
I saw Paz de la Huerta. I think that's her name. Huert. I'm not sure. The lady. She was in Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down.
She was like one of his hookups. He met her in Mexico. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew her
Okay.
from there, but
That show is
I knew about
crazy,
four-
by the way.
Yeah, that show's nuts.
I watched a few seasons of that. It's been a while, but yeah. Like, they fucking let it hang out.
Yeah.
I think I watched the pilot once, and then I don't really remember any of it. All right, guys. So, what did you think? Spoiler-free impressions to kick off here. What did you think of the movie?
I liked it. There were things that I wish had turned out, differently. But I did like it. It was what you signed up for.
Yeah, I that's kind of how I feel. I feel like there were a lot of things that didn't make a lot of sense, but at the same time, they fit most of the pieces together. And they did some genre mixing. It's pretty popular these days, but they put it as like a heist, but it's also kind of like I guess a suicide mission because a lot of them die.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you got the whole zombie thing going. So a lot of stuff mixed in there. There are a couple art sources, like Frank Frazetta and Bernie Wrightson, and I think they pulled from them. And there's some pretty strong visuals, and there's a lot of like great shots. I feel in the movie, like there's a lot of aesthetic value, I think, which I found pretty.
That's one thing about Zack Snyder. Say what you will about him, but he definitely knows how to get some like good shots.
Yeah, there's some great shots, and there's a lot of like fun little elements, like the tiger and you know, stuff like that. So,
and Snyder, like, if you give him enough time, he can build a good story around everything. Like I didn't feel like I was missing any piece of the story. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah,
stuff like that. You know, he put it all out there.
The pieces were there, but some of them were just a little bit awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll get into that. But I thought this movie was like totally serviceable.
It was what it was supposed to be. It was like
exactly
over the top, a little crazy.
Exactly. I felt it was exactly what I signed up for, like you were saying.
Yeah. But it wasn't like it wasn't as bad as like a lot of pure action movies. Like they made you care about the characters enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't as bland as like a Michael Bay film or anything like that. It had enough meat on the bones, and I did, you know, not that I'm a huge, you know, zombie film fan, but I do like that they, you know, like you said, are genre mixing. We got a heist movie mixed with a zombie movie. You know, my favorite zombie movie would be Shaun of the Dead, where they cut it with comedy.
that was probably one of the best ones. That was great.
Yeah. So I did like that. So yeah, I think, you know, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I would say, like, if you've never liked a zombie movie, like, this isn't going to be the one that wins you over. Like maybe Shaun of the Dead would be. But yeah, I thought it was totally. You know, if you want to see some action and you got a couple hours to kill, I think this movie is, you know, totally will serve your needs. Yeah. All right, so now we will get into a more spoiler territory. So if anyone, you know, listens, want to, you know, pause and come back later or whatnot, you've been warned. Spoilers from this point out. All right, guys. So I saw this movie 2 days ago. So help me remember, fill in the blanks. But I do remember we start off. There's a couple driving on the road. They just got married. And
so they had never had sex before marriage. They waited, obviously.
yeah. They're good Christians. They waited. But now that they're on the road, the bride decides she wants to give the guy a little oral pleasure. Yeah. So they start that. Now going in the opposite direction, we got a big old convoy of military rigs.
Known as the Four Horsemen.
Yeah. And so they're packing a container of something, and like
the payload.
Yeah, the two guys in one of the trucks are kind of have some dialogue about that. One of them's like, "Oh, it's the real copy of the Constitution," and one of them's hinting that, "Oh, maybe it's aliens," or, you know, shit like that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, of course, the guy getting the blowjob, he steers into the oncoming traffic, and he hits the lead convoy vehicle, and apparently this was one of those cars where the bumper was made of flint or something, because
what was that car? There was like
the Pinto.
Yeah, like if you rear-ended it, it just exploded.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that one was the rear bumper. Apparently this one's the front bumper, because I mean, this thing is not a normal car crash. It just causes a big old fireball explosion.
Instant death.
And so the metal container these guys are transporting, you know, it gets knocked off, and then it opens up, and like the league, like one of the guys is calling, like, you know, military HQ, and they're like, "What's your situation?" And he's like, "That's not good. We need support." And it's like, "Oh, and the package is open." And the woman on the line just like, "Get the fuck out of there!" But of course it's too late. And there's
also he lazily says, "Hey guys, we need to go."
Oh, yeah, it's not like hurry the fuck up, get out of there. It's like, guys, I think maybe we should think about turning back. But of course by then it's too late. This zombie's out, and he's just fucking wrecking shop. The two guys that had the dialogue in the truck, they run a little bit trying to get away, but the zombie catches up, fucks him up.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't like. Well, I guess he kills them, But then like you can tell they're a little bit different, like
Yeah, there were a few
different zombies.
There were a few there.
Because they like sync up with the zombie that killed him, so you can tell like there's a kind of a different zombie type thing.
Yeah, they're the
going
alphas.
Yeah, there's some story like if the lead zombie bites you, you become like one of these smart
Yeah,
alpha zombies, I guess. But then,
Yeah.
like, if one of the other ones bites you, you're just like a regular, like, dumbass zombie.
Yeah, so they did try to create their own kind of zombie lore in this movie, which we'll get into. But anyway, the three of them, like, they get up on this hill, and now we can see that they're right on the, like, border of Las Vegas. So then it breaks into basically the opening credits, which kind of plays out like a zombie movie in and of itself, where like we're kind of introduced to like Dave Batista and the other cast members, and like they basically become the like zombie survivors, and we just see them kind of wrecking shop, shooting zombies, and the black guy, his like metal saw, he's like cutting them up and shit. I do remember, like, just as the credits are getting over, like, there's this woman that wasn't Batista's wife, because we'll get into that, but I guess, like, a fellow survivor, and, like, right as they're almost out, like, she gets hit by, like, captured by zombies, and they just drop this, like, fucking shipping container, like...
That is kind of weird, because I didn't pay attention to that, but they did kind of play out like that was his wife. And then, like, later there's something else.
Yeah, apparently it was just, like, another person in the survival group.
Side piece.
Yeah, because he kills his wife when she got
Yeah, like, he kills his wife later when she gets zombified or something.
Yeah. So I think from there, we basically cut... it doesn't... I don't think it tells, but I think several months later, Batista is now... out of there, and he's like cook now. He's just a cook at a burger joint, and like I'll say one thing: this movie doesn't waste time. They ramp up and tell you what the plot of the movie is pretty quick. So this rich Japanese guy,
I think he owns the casino that they're
something like that. Yeah. He basically tells them, "Hey, I got this $200 million in this vault of my casino. I've already been like reimbursed by the FDIC or whatever. So like if you go in and get this money, I'll give you like 50 million of it or something."
Yeah.
Which you think he could at least give half. But
Yeah.
like it's a pretty big risk. And then this might have been before or after that, but we're introduced. We find out that Batista's daughter, she like volunteers at this camp to help, like, I guess people that were displaced survivors from Vegas. They're basically living in a camp right outside of Vegas. Now, this is a thing that confused me, and I think you too, that we never really got a beat on. Was like, what's the deal with these people?
Yeah, it was weird because it was kind of playing on like the we're having the camps where we're putting Mexican people and stuff, and it was partially a play on that, I think, but it was also just like people that came out of the city and apparently didn't leave, like they're camped out there.
Yeah, why?
And then they surrounded the city in like shipping carts, so there was like effectively a wall around it or something.
Yeah, why did it seem like they were trapped? They could have gone anywhere else, right?
It seems like it, but also they seemed like they were kind of like captives of like the police almost. It's weird.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand, because Batista's daughter, she has a conversation with this woman she's befriended there. And like this woman basically tells her that she wants to sneak back into Vegas and steal some money so she can like buy her way out of this camp. And so then I'm like, is this camp full of like, illegal immigrants that they found coming out of Vegas, and they're like detaining them there?
Yeah.
And like she'll use the money to bribe the cops to get out. It was unclear to me.
Yeah.
And that's when we're introduced to Slimy Mustache Cop, and he's like all rapey and stuff towards them.
You're like, this guy's gonna get fucked up later.
Yeah, like you knew that guy was gonna get fucked up. And then I think it flashes back to Batista, and we see that he has like PTSD because during the invasion, his wife was turned into a zombie, and he had to stab her in the head. And like basically, as he was doing that, like his daughter saw, and we're led to believe this kind of caused a rift between them, which they'll explain a little more later. Okay, from there he starts assembling the team, right?
Right. So he has to assemble the team, which basically assembles all the people he was fighting with in Las Vegas.
And then a couple more, yeah.
And then he goes to like a random locksmith shop and he pulls out these blueprints for like this gigantic safe. He's like, "Oh, can you open this?" And he's like, "If there's one person in the world who can open this, it's this guy." He's like, "Oh, well, that was lucky."
Yeah.
That was convenient, Dieter. But yeah,
I didn't mind Dieter as a story. Like, he was fun.
he was fine.
Yeah.
I felt like someone else should have recruited him. Oh yeah, and we found this world class safe.
Yeah, it should have been a little harder.
And he was only going to pay that guy like $25,000 or something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, because each person he's like
The
he
price went down.
went down, yeah, which I kind of like that they did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But the first one that he recruits is like the mechanic lady, which I guess he's more friends with, and like it's weird because like later on, like spoilers before before she dies, like she kind of hints at like maybe there was some sort of I don't know relationship between them,
And he like walked away from it or something.
Yeah, but then we know he was married, so I was a little confused about their relationship. They also like one of the team members is this guy like they saw online. He was like making these videos of him like TikTok type videos of him like shooting zombies and like and he's like a really good shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And so and then it's him and he brings one of his like friends on board. It's this like woman or whatever. Okay, so then they all assemble. And the Japanese guy goes over everything. Now, I want to ask this because, like, the Japanese guy is like, easy peasy Japanesey. And then the other guy's like, "Oh, that's offensive these days. It's lemon squeezy." And he's like, "Well, I'm Japanese, so I can get away with it." Now, I don't know about you guys. I have never in my fucking life heard somebody say easy peasy Japanesey.
Yeah, I never heard that. When was that ever a thing?
I've heard lemon squeezy.
Yeah,
I've never ever heard Japanesey. Never.
Yeah.
So I thought that was weird. Maybe it's a thing. I'm not saying it's
Making
not a thing,
stuff
but
up.
I've never fucking heard that in my life. So yeah, they kind of go over the plan there, and then they make their way. Oh, so now I think we get a scene. Batista goes and he finds his daughter, and he's like, "Hey, I know our relationship is strained right now, but he's like, I have this job, and if you can do me a favor, like I can get you like $15 million, like if you can help me get into Vegas." And she's like, and eventually she agrees to it or whatever. So then she like uses her contacts as a volunteer there. She drives them all in like a bus. And then, one thing I forgot is, like, the woman she befriended at the camp, like the Mexican woman or whatever.
Yeah.
The one, like, she said she wanted to go in, and she's like, "I know this coyote woman can bring me over or whatever." And Batista's daughter's like, "No, don't do that or whatever, it's dangerous." But then she finds out that that's exactly what that woman did. And so... because they're going to use this coyote lady to bring them into Vegas, and like she gets upset with her because she let that other woman in, and so then Batista's daughter like insists upon going with the group into.
She forces her.
Yeah, and she's like, "If you don't let me in with you, I'm just going to go in afterwards, and I'll probably die or whatever." So that's what gets Batista to let her in. And before they go in, the last thing is the coyote woman's like, "We're going to need one more." So she gets the creepy mustache cop to
For 20,000.
yeah, or whatever she offers. I don't even know if it was that much, but yeah. All right, so yeah, they all start going in, and like if I'm missing anything or you guys think of something, just let me know.
Then that other guy like kind of they didn't know he like forced himself onto the team. That government guy.
Oh yes,
Tanaka's inside man.
Yeah.
Now,
What was the Japanese guy's name? I just said Tanaka.
Yeah, it was Tanaka.
it might have been. Yeah. Maybe I'll
Good
jump.
guess.
Maybe I'll jump around a little bit because I do want to talk about this guy, this inside guy, because he does some things that I don't think are necessary,
You're right.
like at all. So, like, we find out that
They could have killed him and everybody else.
yeah, basically what we find out is that the Japanese guy, he doesn't care at all about the money. He wants the head of one of these zombies so that
Alpha
he can,
zombies.
yeah, so he can study it and make his own zombie army. Now, for one, let's talk about that. Isn't a zombie army kind of a shitty idea? Because, like, we can see how it devastated Vegas, but they basically got lucky that they were able to wall it in on Vegas. Because, like, if they would have unleashed this and it just went worldwide, like, everybody would be fucked. Like, a zombie army seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Well, what if you just like release it in like New Zealand and then be like, well, nobody ever go to New Zealand ever again.
Yeah, I guess if you want to dominate an island country, you're...
Or a continent that you never want to see again. That would be nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
I don't
just...
get the logic.
Yeah, it seemed totally illogical to begin with. But then this guy, so he's basically betraying people as he goes. Like the woman that's the friend of the TikTok guy, like he like moves a glow stick as they're moving through like this horde of zombies, so she'll go the wrong way and get attacked. And like she fights a lot of them off, but it ends up being what kills her. And then later on, he betrays the coyote lady. But like, why?
Well,
like,
the
would they have
first
really?
one, she threatened him. So
I guess.
you can kind of understand it, but yeah, basically his actions put them in a big fight where they all could have died.
Yeah.
But like, even if he was like straight up honest about it and be like, "Oh yeah, my boss also wants a sample of the zombies," like, would they have even really gave a shit? Like,
I don't know, for $50 million, I don't know.
yeah, they probably would have been like, "Well, that's weird, but whatever. Like, we're getting this money." Like, I don't think they would have gave a shit.
Well, I mean, that coyote lady, she kind of knew her stuff, though. Maybe she knew, like, if they killed, like, an alpha, that'd be a bad thing or something.
Also, it might have been easier to just say, I'll give you $50 million if you go get me one of these heads.
Yeah, that's true, too.
That would have been easier. But they could have done that in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
they had
Like,
at the
that would have been so
beginning.
much easier, really, if that's all he was after. I mean, yeah, he could have just been like, "I'll pay you a large sum of money. Like, forget all this heist stuff. I'll pay you a large sum of money just to go in, get a zombie head, come out," and they could have done it easily.
Also, why would they give him 150 million? Why didn't they just keep the 200 million for themselves at the end? Like, if, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you might have. It's going to be you're going to have to track him down and get that money.
Yeah.
Also, like, I like the coyote lady, but like, I found it kind of silly that like she was like the exposition person, and she just happened to know all this stuff about the alphas and how they work and stuff. And I was like, I
Well,
don't.
she'd been in and out, so yeah, I think
guess.
they did need something to explain because they are kind of unique in the zombie lore, I guess.
Yeah, and the zombie, like the alphas themselves, like, so the first one who initially like got everybody, his name was like Zeus, and he grew hair after like months of like being out and everything. He started out with like a crew cut and dog tag, so he used to be like a soldier, and then like, you know, after months of being out and infecting people, like he grew his hair out and like kind of changed his appearance. So he wasn't like exactly dead. He was like just mutated.
Yeah, and also we find out that apparently these alpha zombies can reproduce because the dickhead, like,
Yeah.
he kills like the female zombie, like, you know, that's the zombie head he steals, and like later on the alpha zombie recovers her body and like there's like a fetus in there.
Yeah, like a baby zombie, I guess.
So yeah, apparently these alpha zombies like can still fuck, can reproduce. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think they were trying to humanize it a bit as kind of like, you know, because they said it was like their kingdom and
Yeah.
he's like the king and the queen and like.
And also, the place where they were was called Olympus. So he was Zeus, and they lived in Olympus.
Oh yeah, I didn't put all that together.
Yeah.
Now, as they get into the Vegas, like one of the first things they see is the tiger, the zombie tiger.
Right,
and
it's patrolling.
Yeah, and it comes.
Siegfried and Roy's.
Yeah, they said it was like one of the Siegfried and Roy's. And don't get me wrong, I think the tiger looks awesome, but they could have, when it was like posing on that cart, they could have just shot it right there in the head and been done with it. Now that might have upset the alphas, so maybe that's kind of
Yeah, my first instinct would be like, I need to put a round in this thing.
Yeah. And they could have easily done that, but instead, what the coyote lady does is she's like, we need to make him a trade. So like she shoots the mustache rapey cop, and like then this two alpha zombies show up, the woman and
Another male.
another male, yeah. And they end up taking him back to Olympus, that Olympus hotel, so that they can be on their way. So then they make their way into the hotel, and they kind of split up because there's a helicopter on the roof that Tignertaro's character goes to, and then Dieter and some of the others, they're going to the vault.
Yeah.
And then I think Batista and his daughter, they're trying to get a generator
They get
working.
the generator running.
Yeah. So basically, they have a heart-to-heart where, like, she says it's not the fact that he killed her mom; it's the fact that, like, he kind of, retreated and didn't really like stick around and like help her out of that tough time, like, and so that's where the hard feelings between them is.
And his story arc is kind of like that. He left his daughter for that, and then he left his that lady also that he was that was part of the crew. They were together for a while. He left her. So like his story arc was like he leaves hard situations, but then later on he doesn't.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We find out that the helicopter is basically a huge piece of shit, and
Which it's questionable if that makes sense. But also they have like a crew of 8 or 9 people, and like they would never get on that helicopter. Plus, they're supposed to load in like pallets full of money.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess they knew that some of them were going to die. Also, like, they go in, like, they all have gasoline strapped to them that I guess they're going to use to fuel up the helicopter. But I thought for sure they would use some of that gasoline, and maybe they use it on the generator as well. But I thought surely, like, well, I guess they did kind of use it because the one woman that was the friend of the TikTok, like when she was getting in trouble and the zombies swarmed her, like he shot the gas tank and it did explode. So I guess they did kind of use it there. But I was expecting them to burn more zombies, I guess, and it didn't really happen.
There was one line when they first went in where there's like all these like dried out dead zombies, and she's like, "You should see it when it rains. They all come back to life for like a couple hours." And I was like, "It's gonna rain."
Yeah,
it never came.
It was weird that they set that up and then didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I was waiting for that, and then they're like. Well, there's one point where like they think they have an hour or whatever until a nuclear blast destroys the city, and then they're like, "Oh, we're moving the bomb date up by like 24 hours." So then they have like 1 hour to get out or something.
Yeah,
And then I was like, "The sky's clear. It's not gonna rain."
I did kind of like their reasoning for moving it up though, because like originally like they were going to do it on the 4th of July, and then like some people complained that was offensive, so they moved it up a day. And I'm like, that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have been setting a date. I've been like, okay, this place needs to explode.
Yeah.
I pushed the button. I guess they did have the refugees outside. They probably would be bad PR.
I mean, they said it was like a tactical nuke, so it's not supposed to be like a real mushroom cloud, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still a mushroom cloud.
Well, yeah, at the end of the movie, we do see like the mushroom cloud, yeah. Okay.
Oh, did you guys think anything about Tignataro's appearance in there? Was it strange at all to you, or did it seem kind of like it didn't fit? Because I thought it was seamless.
You know, the only thing is, I think they try a little too hard to make her seem like a badass. Like she's always like chomping on a cigar and things like that.
Gasoline into the helicopter.
Yeah. So
This is mission critical.
like I didn't really have a big problem with her, but yeah, I think they maybe tried a little too hard to make her come off as a badass. Maybe, I don't know.
So, like with her, I don't know if you guys know this, but Chris D'Elia, he was originally playing the pilot in the movie, and they got rid of him, and they had to like do all these reshoots with Tignertaro, and a lot of them, I don't know if all of them, but a lot of them were with green screen, so she's not actually with the rest of the cast. And so they had to like kind of spice her
together.
into yeah. So I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, and I couldn't tell, so they must have done a good job.
Yeah. They were saying the people who did Superman's mustache, he could have used that crew.
I will say that, like, with Tignertaro, like, she also, like, plays a part on Star Trek Discovery, and her character, like, comes off the exact same way. Like, so, maybe she has limited range, and they're just like, we know how to write her. I don't know.
Yeah, she always seems like she doesn't give a fuck.
Okay, so then down in the vaults, there's like all these weird booby traps going to the vault that they're using like zombies to do. So like the first one just like shoots a bunch of tranq darts. The second pressure plate like has like machine gun fire, and then the third one just has like makes the sides of the walls like crush it, and like I thought those were maybe a little silly.
Yeah, and he didn't really know how many or what booby traps there were, even though he had like the blueprints, right? I was like, but he knew there was a pressure plate.
Well, and that's one of the things I thought they mentioned at one point is like, oh, one of the reasons we're sending the douchebag that works for me with you is he can help you get through these. But like he never, and at some point they said they were non-lethal, and even Dieter like pointed that out.
Yeah, it was also kind of weird when they like split up or whatever. Like the coyote and that guy, for some reason they go back outside, and I guess she knows he's trying to get the head.
I know they made a deal at some point. Right?
They must have made a deal. Like I missed something.
Yeah,
because it was kind of weird. Like they just disappeared and like they went out doing their own thing.
Well, I thought they like said like before they did that they were gonna like board up the place or something, but they didn't.
Oh, okay. So they were doing their own side mission. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, then they basically go outside, and yeah, I maybe missed something too because yeah. They have a conversation, and like she shoots some bullets in the air to attract the zombies. So, and like I don't think they talked about that to Batista or anything. Like we're gonna go outside and attract zombies.
It's like where are you two going?
But anyway, they do that, and it attracts the alpha zombies. Oh yeah, the dickhead like that works for the Japanese guy. He like shoots a rope around the woman. And like she goes down, and he just like straight up like blows up the other one with like a grenade or something, right?
Well, no, I think the other one gets like the better of him, and like she shoots it in the head.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. And then yeah, he goes over with like a garrote, like a wire, and like saws off the head, and like keeps it, and.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It was weird.
Well.
Yeah, I don't know if that was well explained.
Yeah, that's true, because like Tanaka got the whole team together to keep that guy alive. And then his whole thing was like to kill the team while trying to get out of there, right?
yeah, he was.
Yeah, I don't know. That's strange.
I guess they really just didn't want any witnesses to him taking the zombie because, like, if he ever did make a zombie army, they would have witnesses. I guess that he was behind. I'm searching here. They don't really explain it that well.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I thought the booby traps were a little like entertaining, but a little outlandish. Like I don't see anybody actually putting those kind of booby traps in there. But anyway, they make it to the vault, and Dieter, like Batista says up to him and makes him like fuck up, and he's like, "I won't get another chance at this. If I fuck up again, like it'll lock permanently." But he does his thing, and eventually he opens it up. There is the money inside. They start packing up the money. And, that's when Batista has the conversation with the mechanic lady. Well, actually, first he has a conversation with his daughter, and they, I think, start getting closer. He talks about a food truck or something. And then he has a conversation with the mechanic lady, and that's where we find out that they must have had some sort of relationship.
Because she, like, calls him out on it.
Yeah. And then it's at that point everything goes to shit. The elevator opens up, a bunch of zombies grab the mechanic lady, like, twist her neck and kill her.
Well, right. Basically, when the queen had her head cut off, then the king, like, he finds her.
Oh, that's right.
And that's when he takes her body, but like he basically sets all the zombies out to attack the building.
That's right. I forgot that bit. Yeah, because he like gets her body, brings her back, and that's where we find out too that there was the fetus inside her and all that. So yeah, now it's on. He sends all the zombies and himself over there, I believe.
Right, and he shows up on he has a horse, and he comes in a horse. And that's where the Frank Frazetta shot comes, because he's basically this famous painting of the Death Dealer. So I thought that was a nice touch. But there's also, like, his makeup kind of reminded me of, like, Bernie Wrightson's, like, Frankenstein stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, it was definitely, you could tell they pulled from some different art sources. And like I said, some great shots.
Yeah.
Was the horse, like, undead or something? Or
there's a zombie horse as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a cool shot. But basically, all hell breaks loose, and they start having this big fight, basically in that hallway where the vault is. And God, help me piece it together here, because I don't remember, because Batista kind of ends up getting out of there, doesn't he?
So I think Dieter locks himself in the safe with the zombie, or what was it? Like,
right, he was there. The black guy was there, and they must have went up the elevator for some reason, or maybe they took the first load in the elevator.
That could be, because I remember at some point it becomes the black guy Dieter and the alpha zombie. They're all fighting. The zombie kind of really hits the black guy hard. And then Dieter, to save the black guy, shoves him into the vault. And as he's doing that, I don't know if it actually shows it, but the alpha zombie kills Dieter.
Right.
And the black guy is locked in the vault. I think somewhere around this point is where also the guy that works for the Japanese guy, he betrayed Coyote Lady. Locked her out, and he's got the bag with the head, but what he doesn't know is she replaced it with another item.
Right, the switcheroo.
And they kind of set up that switcheroo, like we see her, like, kind of seeing that other item, whatever it was, and, like, so they do set that up. And then he gets out of there, and he's, like, kind of bragging about it, but then the tiger shows up, because the tiger had to fuck somebody up, and it's going to fuck him up. And yeah, so the tiger just completely fucks him up and like bites his head off, right?
Yeah.
I'm blanking a little bit because
pretty much there's some different fighting. A ton of people die, and you end up with Batista and a couple others on the roof.
Oh, yeah. And the helicopters.
But also at some point during all that conflict, like his daughter peeled off to go save
Gita,
people in the other building.
Yeah, what I'm missing, though, is so at some point, there's a scene with Batista, TikTok guy, and I think Coyote Lady, and they have a big shootout.
Yeah, in the casino floor.
But I don't remember what happened, why the alpha zombie left at that point. No, he didn't leave. He was
still in the basement fighting or something.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, maybe he was still in the fight with Dieter and the black guy. So Batista, TikTok guy, and Coyote Lady, they go to the main lobby of the casino, and they just get into a huge firefight. And Batista's apparently a really good shot because he's just mowing guys in the head.
Headshots all around.
And this is where TikTok guy finally eats it. The zombies get all over him, and then you made mention of it. So like he's got these grenades on him, and he just like he pulls the pin, but he doesn't give Batista or anybody like, hey, a heads up, you might want to step the fuck back a little bit. No, he just like pulls the pin, and he's like, they'll get it.
They never heard a pin before.
So yeah, he blows up and takes a bunch of zombies with him. So then, I believe Batista and Coyote Lady make their way to the roof, and no, I think I'm misthinking. So I think
and his daughter, I think.
Yeah, I think this is where Batista. Oh yeah, no, they do go to the roof, and I think Batista at this point does know that his daughter went.
Right, she's missing.
So like they get in the helicopter, but like and I think Batista gets flown off, but Coyote Lady has a standoff with the alpha zombie.
Right. Well, they were like in the middle of that conflict, I think, right? And then like she gets like harpooned against the wall.
Yeah.
But she has like the head.
The head of the.
So they have like a Mexican standoff, and then Batista flies away.
Yeah, Batista flies away, and Coyote Lady throws the head.
Throws the head off the building, and then it explodes on the ground.
Yeah.
Why'd the head matter to the zombie?
Well, it was still his queen, and like the head was still alive.
Oh,
Yeah, the head was still alive, so I think he could still like I guess talk to her. Yeah, I get the blowjob.
I started going back to the beginning of the movie.
You just threw away a perfectly good blowjob. So yeah, now Batista he's flown over to the Olympus, and now Batista's daughter's met up with the woman she was trying to find, and another girl that was there, and this is where dickhead mustache cop comes in. Oh, and earlier we didn't go over, but he was bitten by an alpha.
Yeah,
and he became an
he was
alpha
in the process of
zombie
transforming.
himself. Yeah. He kills like one of the other no-name woman that was with him, and then Batista's daughter, I think, just shoots him. Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Puts him down. And then basically she ends up getting cornered by the alpha zombie because he made his way back there. And like they're about to get killed by the alpha zombie, but Batista's now in the building and he has to like move a mattress or something. But he gets there just in the nick of time, and he like doesn't he like shoot some sort of like
I want to say
grenade or something that explodes,
like a grenade or like a signal flare or something.
Yeah, anyway, it puts the alpha zombie down for at least a little bit. So then they go outside, and Tignertaro character has flown the helicopter off. And like before he left, he's like, don't be a dick and leave me or something like that, right? He's like, don't fuck me. But it appears she does. But then we hear the helicopter, and she's like, she changed her mind, and she's coming back for him. So they get in there, but that gives the alpha zombie time to get back up to the roof. And before they can get away, alpha zombie jumps into the helicopter. And like the helicopter does this dive to where they probably should have just died, I guess, but they don't. So yeah, like they're fighting Batista's fighting the alpha zombie while Tignertaro's trying to fly away, and like the nuke is like
5 minutes out or something.
And like at one point, like the gun goes off and it shoots Tignertaro, and like the way they shot it, I was like, I thought he just like straight up like blew her brains out, and like, but then like apparently not. Apparently he must have
shoulder.
Yeah, must have hit her like in the chest or in the shoulder or something. And so they're flying. They're outside the border wall, and Batista gets bitten by the alpha zombie.
Right, before blowing its head off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before blowing its head off.
How'd the alpha lose his mask? He had this like bulletproof mask.
I think he took it off at some point.
Oh, that was dumb.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe that explosion in the hallway knocked it off. I don't know, because I don't think he had it after he like came to the roof. So I think he probably lost it then. Okay. So then Alpha Zombie's dead, but Batista's bitten. And at the same time, the nuke is going into Las Vegas. It explodes, big old mushroom cloud, and big old blast that's hitting the helicopter.
Yeah.
It causes the helicopter to crash. And then basically Batista's daughter starts to stir out of the wreckage. Tignertaro's dead. They never show the other woman. I'm assuming she's dead.
Yeah, they don't show her dead, but she's just gone, and you never figure it out. But presumably dead, I guess.
So here's where we get the touching scene where Batista and his daughter have a moment together. I don't really even remember their dialogue that much.
He had some money for her. He was like, "You can use this to."
Yeah, he had a pocket full of money.
He was going to open a food cart and sell lobster rolls.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so basically, he sacrificed himself for her. I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess so. And then he starts to turn, and she has to shoot him in the head.
Right.
Yeah. So most everybody in this movie dies.
Yeah, it's a suicide mission.
Yeah, Batista's daughter makes it out. And so now the last thing they have, and this is kind of, I don't think it was a good way to go out, but basically what happens is, and I was wondering about this because the black guy, we said got shot or stuffed in the safe, and I'm like, oh, is he gonna Indiana Jones this thing? But instead of a fridge, he's in the safe.
I mean, it seems like the best place to be, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, but so apparently he survives it. But there's a lot of convenience here because he survives it, and apparently there's a way out of it.
Right, he still crawls out of the wreckage.
And so does the safe open up after the blast, or how does he get out of there?
Right, I was thinking if you're trapped in that safe, you're fucked. But apparently he could get out of the safe.
And the nuclear radiation didn't bother him. Well, we know why later on.
Yeah, that's something I was wondering about too. But then, yeah, it's okay because they explain it. The spoiler alert: he was bitten and he's becoming zombified. But basically, he gets out of there. He steals a car. He goes and he's got a bag of money, so he uses that to charter a private plane. Now, here's what I thought was weird because I'm oh, certainly, he's on his way to go to kill the Japanese guy. And, that's how they're going to wrap it up. But no, he goes, he's, having champagne with the stewardesses, and then...
Flying to Mexico City.
Yeah, flying to Mexico City, and he goes in the bathroom, and we see he's bit. The end, setting up number 2. Now, I think they should have held all that stuff with him to maybe a mid-credit sequence stinger or something. It just felt kind of weird to me, and it felt like it was kind of going. It felt like it was going somewhere and then nowhere. I guess.
I don't know. Once I saw him going, that's what I expected, I guess. Although, if you're a millionaire, I don't know about Mexico City so much, but you can go to Venice or
it's pretty populated. 20-something million people live there.
Yeah, but you can go anywhere in the world. You can be sign me up for Mexico City.
But maybe he's thinking zombie things. Maybe he's all right, that's a great place to fuck people up.
I was it definitely looks like they're gonna make another one of these, right? Since this one was a zombie movie mixed with a heist movie, I hope the second one will be, a zombie movie mixed with something. I like the idea of it being mixed with a different genre.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more hierarchy with the zombies, too. Learn a little bit more about what's going on with them. Maybe they evolve or something. Or
yeah, the society was interesting. They were definitely interesting. They had more depth than most zombies. So
yeah.
So I guess the black guy, he'll be the alpha zombie.
I guess he's the new alpha, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They said the German guy, they set up a prequel with him. So there's going to be a movie with him in it.
Working in a locksmith shop.
I think they've already made it or something. Or they.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't have even been zombies, right?
No, there's some sort of story with him. I don't know what it is. Dieter gets a movie.
I don't know.
Man,
it's hard to
Netflix.
It's hard to imagine what would have been a good choice on that one.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's not like an April Fool's type thing. That seems weird. I don't know. Sounds like an Onion article or something. I don't know. Is there anything else you can think of that we left out, or maybe any things you guys wanted to touch on?
Well, I'm about 30 seconds away from shitting my pants.
Also, my battery's starting to run low on the recorder here. So, just to wrap things up, what would your guys' final score be? Scale of 1 to 10.
I'd give it a 6.5.
I'd go. I usually I'm below you guys. I think I'd go a little higher. I'm happy. I'd give it a B. I'd give it maybe an 8.
I think Rotten Tomatoes is almost spot on. I'll give it a 6.9. Nice.